Hello everybody, this is Cheryl. Welcome to my YouTube channel. This is my grandangel Brian. He is 7 years old and he is in the second grade. And he helps me out Monday through Friday in my food forest, in the greenhouse, and also my grow room. Today, in part one of this video, I'm going to share with you some of the lessons I've been teaching Brian, as well as all of my grandchildren. But since he's with me most of the time, I'm featuring him today. And in the second part of my video, I'm going to share with you how I am going to grow cassava in a container. Okay, let's get started. Hey Brian, what you doing?
I'm putting the plants under the grow lights.
Show me the grow lights, please.
These are the grow lights.
Okay,
I plugged in 4.
You plugged in 4 of them. Okay, and you put in those plants right there?
Yes.
Okay. So what's happening with the plants? What were they when I first planted them?
They were seeds.
Seeds. And then they germinated. What does germination mean?
Grew.
The seeds grew into a little bitty plant. And now we're putting them in little larger pots. And because we have so many up under the shop lights, and I don't want to reach that high, we're going to go ahead and put some down here. Okay?
Okay.
All right. Now give me another box so I can elevate this up a little higher. Okay? Hey,
Okay.
Brian, thanks for coming to help me out to school today. Let's see if you can get in the light. Okay, very good. What are you holding in your hand there?
Plants.
Plants. How did we get those plants?
We put the soil and then we put the seed
Put the soil where?
in the pot.
Mm-hmm.
And then we put the seed in, and then we cover it up with more soil.
Mm-hmm.
And then we put it in the dark and water it.
But we watered it first, and then we put it in the dark, correct?
Yes.
We put it on top of this heating pad down here, right? And it kept them nice and warm. Okay, now, let's take a look at the plants. So they have germinated. And what is germination?
Germination is when your plant has grown into a little bitty plant.
Your seed has grown into a little plant in the dark, right?
Yes.
So now that we have little plants, what are we going to do?
We're gonna put it in the light over here.
Up there. Okay, so you want to put that up there for me?
Yes, I will.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And then when you come in tomorrow, you're going to see a lot of plants have gotten a little bigger. Okay?
Okay.
All right. Thank you for helping me, Brian.
You're welcome.
You want to say bye?
Bye
What are
now.
you ready to do?
I'm getting
Look into the camera so people can see you.
I'm getting ready to vacuum up the
Dirt?
soil off the floor that we wasted.
Very good. Okay, I'll turn the vacuum cleaner on. Good job, Brian. Good job. Pop quiz. If we have this dome on top of the greenhouse, this is the part of the greenhouse, and we have this container full of plants that are germinating, sitting on top of the heating pad, and now, like I said, we have the dome on top. That would facilitate something faster. And what is that term called?
Germination.
Very good. Thank you, Brian. You want to say goodbye?
Bye now.
In this portion of the video, I'm going to share with you how and why I'm growing cassava. First of all, I want to share with you that this is a picture of, not mine, but mature cassava after it was harvested. Cassava is a root plant that is similar to a potato, but it has less glycemic index. You can cook cassava just like potatoes, french fries, mashed potatoes, what have you. Some people put it in soups, but you can do a lot of things with it, including making pudding. And this is what it looks like when it's cleaned up before you cook it. Some people call cassava yucca. It actually has 2 different names, but it'll be something that I could cut a piece off of it, put it back into the ground, and grow over and over and over. Did you know that tapioca pudding is made from flour that is extracted from cassava? Yeah, I want to teach my grandchildren where everything comes from. This is what my cuttings looked like when I got them. That was the picture on eBay. But I took them and put them in a dark place and covered them up, and they rooted relatively fast, as you can see from this picture here. So now let's go out to the greenhouse and I'll show you exactly how I'm going to transplant these cuttings. So now I'm out in the greenhouse and I want to share this 126-gallon tote with you. It's relatively large, and it is full of reclaimed potting mix and homemade compost. And I added some worm castings to it. You don't really have to do this because cassava will grow in mostly any type of soil, and it could be drought tolerant, but it's best to water it and treat it like a tropical plant. I grew this last year and it was doing very well in the greenhouse. And then I took it out too early and I forgot to bring it back in when we had a heavy freeze and the roots and the plant died. But I'm not a quitter. A lot of things that I have grown, like tomatoes and peppers, when I first started doing this, I didn't do it successfully. And I kept with it. You have to, if you don't succeed the first time, what we were taught as children, you try and try again. So this is my second attempt, and I'm confident because I did more research, and I am not going to move this plant outside until we have consistent temperatures in the 70s or 80s. Okay, so now you see here, I'm just pulling a few weeds out of here, out of this container, and I am getting ready to plant the cassava. So there are a few weeds in here in the planter that I didn't pull up, so I'm going to pull them out first. You can see one right there. And now I'm looking at the cutting, and I want you to know that you can plant it straight up and down like that, vertically, or you can plant them by laying them down and covering them in soil like I'm going to do here. And since that worked very well for me last year, I'm going to do that again. I'm just not going to make the same mistake. I will not bring this tote out of this greenhouse until it is consistently warm enough. So I planted one there. And now I'm going to plant the second one. And of course, I'm going to do one to the left, one to the right, and then one toward the middle. And I'm not really worried about covering up the growth where it started rooting because it will pop through the soil. And since this tote was outside, it's very moist, so I'm not going to have to water it. Found another weed there. And now I'm planting the last one. I'm sorry I'm not in the frame. It's hard to video with one hand and look at the camera and the phone and then look at what you're doing, but I think you get the gist of what I'm doing here. I'm just pulling out a single weed there. Okay, I think I'm going to be successful at growing cassava this year. I'm going to speak it into existence. And as I said previously, I've learned a lot and I researched and studied growing cassava more. But I'll be bringing you my updates and keeping you informed. Thank you for watching, everybody.